Hey girls, I am back. And again, my name is Carrie, but my friends call me Tony, and I prefer Tony. This is part 4 of I Married a White Man. Now 3 racist judges are trying to annihilate me. I left out, this is part 4. I left off in part 3 where the judge, she gave me $5,000. But as I go on, I'm going to tell you what happened to the $5,000. Okay? But currently, I want to quickly say to you guys, it's taken me quite a while to finish these videos. It's because it's very hard for me, and I know I've said that before. I started, I think, part 1, and I posted it, but I had a difficult time moving on. It's hard for me, and I want to say it properly. I experience extreme anxiety. And so if you've never experienced anxiety before, I have for a while since I've been in this abusive relationship for 20 years. I may have told you guys a story about when this first started happening to me when I first got married. But I am currently suffering from severe anxiety. I don't sleep at all. To be able to sit here and talk to you about it, I have to relive it. And my body has fear. And so I want to explain what the anxiety feels like. Like, you ever have anxiety, like you have stage fright, and like maybe you're going to go on stage, or you have to do a talk, or you're afraid, like you just get in an accident, you have fear, and you have like your heart races, and you become afraid. That's what anxiety feels like. And currently, like, my stomach is anxious, my mind is racing. 90% of the time, this is how I'm feeling, okay? And my body doesn't want to continue because it's hurting. My body and my mind, where protecting me, is saying, stop, don't do it. I become literally debilitated and paralyzed that I can't finish. And I stopped. I started doing it, and I stopped every day. I said I was going to do it, but I stopped. What got my ass out of bed and what pushed me is when I sat there and watched them kill George Floyd. Every little occurrence that keeps happening, I'll say, okay, I'm going to finish. But it's hard for me to push myself. And then when I see this bad stuff happening, one of the things that I learned, so much is given, much is expected. And this has been really very hard for me. But I'm blessed and highly favored. God has been very good to me. Oftentimes a lot of bad things have happened. At the time I thought there were bad things. And then when I got to the end, but for this negative thing, I wouldn't have this good thing. It keeps coming to my mind when this lady first looked at me and she ruled against me in spousal support. She looked at me like, bitch, what you gonna do? She looked at me like, bitch, what are you going to do? I can't let her do this to me. This woman is a judge in the family court system. She hadn't been a judge, I don't think, 12, 16 months when she did this to me. This is how comfortable they are with maligning black people. To be murdered in the street, to be pulled over, to be given sentences for things we didn't do. Those are the extreme. Those are extreme occurrences. I should be able to go to court in front of a judge and be treated just like anyone else. But that's not happening. That didn't happen. So I have to do what's expected of me. I have to stand up for black people. Again, you know, you guys, I haven't harbored on this because I'm not comfortable asking anyone for money, but I do have a GoFundMe. I need you guys to give $1. I'm asking for $1 because I don't want it to be a burden on anyone. And I get excited because I see what's at the end of the tunnel. Like what pushes me forward is I try not to stay stuck in what's happening now. I look forward and say, okay, if I keep going, this is where I'm going to end. And I get so excited if enough black women submit $1 that allows me to take action against these racist people. It's going to help so many people, but it's also going to say to those who continue to murder, kill us, you can't keep doing this to us. This keeps occurring, having something to do with economic power. And it's believed that we can't change our circumstance because we don't have the economic or social power. But you guys, we do. You know, I'm home quarantining. I've sat here and found all these bomb shows. Well, they're all not bomb. Some of them are cute. A Tubu station, Netflix. When did they come up with all this black content? Where did all this black content come from? And I see all these new black actresses and actors. And I'm like, yeah, really? Loving it. You know, and then I want to say to you in the beauty community, how you made a big to-do about being inclusive on color and things that are targeted to black people. And I think that's very important. And I'm going to talk about this later on because I had an exchange with a girl from Alice and Olivia and another black influencer in the beauty community because years ago I saw Stacey Bennett say that she didn't feel comfortable, that she didn't want to. I don't want to say verbatim what she said because it was years ago, but she didn't have black models because she's looking for a specific look. I saw her on E and she did that. Maybe it's been a while, like 2006, 2008. I remember that. I'm a fashion girl and I have been trying to build a fashion brand for many years now. So I'm very knowledgeable of fashion. And when I heard her say that, it hurt my heart because I like Alice and Olivia. And so I went to these discussions with these people because she did some stuff on her Instagram to acknowledging black people. And a lot of these brands, they say, oh, Black Lives Matter, get on the Black Lives Matter bandwagon, want to be inclusive. And it's not always from the heart, you guys. It's because of dollars and cents, okay? So when a brand extends their line to include colors for black people, it's not because they want to be inclusive. It's because it's about dollars and cents, okay? So the point that I'm making is that we have the economic power. We have the social power. We just have to be able to come together and align ourselves and focus on what's important. Focus on what we need to identify the problem, a solution for the problem, and execute it. You know, I watched a few weeks ago, Oprah had something about George Floyd. And let me tell you something, I love me some Oprah. If y'all love Oprah, if y'all mad at Oprah or Monique or whatever, listen, you can have your opinion, but don't get sidetracked from the issue at hand. The issue at hand is that we need economic equality. We need human equality. I may say things that you don't like. I may say things you don't agree with. Okay? But how we end up losing, you'll look at me and say, well, I don't like her because she said that. Like Monique, I don't agree with Monique. Okay? I don't agree with Monique because I don't think Monique need to be throwing black people under the bus. You might think, well, Tony, that's what you're doing right now. I admire Monique for many reasons. She's a strong black girl, funny, made her way. But I'm not for you throwing people that look like you under the bus. Okay? I have grown and learned so much from Oprah Winfrey. I was in a horrible, abusive relationship, and things that she taught me, imparted to me about consciousness and ego changed my life. She came from Michael Jackson. I didn't like that. I have my opinion. It hurt my heart. Like, why are you coming from Michael Jackson? Hold up. Having to do with something that she was abused. She may have saw something that I didn't see. But I didn't agree with her. But because I didn't agree with her, or I don't agree with Monique, don't mean I'm not going to support them when they do something I think that's important for the betterment of black people. Okay? And it's important that you guys get this. I want everybody on board. I don't want just the educated professionals. I want everybody on board because this is for everyone. I get on my bandwagon because I see what's happened to us. I'm aware, and I sincerely want change. Okay? So real quickly, so to sum that up, is what I'm saying to you is, I got my little tangent, right, guys? We do have the social and economic power. And the point that I'm making about the Netflix and all the streaming service with black content, it is empowering black people. It's giving economic jobs and industry to black people. But the reason why they do it, because it's dollars and cents. Like Tyler Perry made a whole career. So we are great source of income. And we have value. And my point is for us to gain this economic power. My first step is to sue the Los Angeles judicial system for violating my rights as a black woman, to hold them accountable, and to identify, discover other cases that they did to other black women or maybe Latino women. I want to use that occurrence and all these other occurrences to propose a Civil Rights Act of 2020. Within that Civil Rights Act of 2020, I want us to go on my website, go on Judge Sarah Heidel is a Racist, Judge Sarah Heidel is a Racist.com, under Sandy Speaks, and I want you to talk about changes you want to see. You know, I mean, I don't know, and I don't want to call anyone out, but when I saw the conversation with Oprah, I see Oprah constantly making a living by shining a light on these issues. And I appreciate it. I told you, I've grown, but for Oprah Winfrey, I wouldn't be the person I am today. But my question is, it's time for a solution. We can't keep identifying things. Like movies like The Help, I don't feel good. I watch it because I feel like I need to, but I don't like content like that. Something about something fences. What God was it called? And my husband he tried to identify with this black man from the 1930s who was a garbage man. I'm going to tell y'all about that story about this man I married to, okay? How he identified as a wealthy white guy with a black man who was a garbage man. I got to tell y'all about that later. I'll tell y'all about that some other time. But what I'm saying is we keep highlighting, identifying these racial discriminating occurrences, and it's time for them to end. I believe we have the economic power, the social power to make change, and I'm hoping that you guys are willing to follow me in my journey to create change. So ultimately, he took a restraining order out against me in an attempt to try to minimize his spousal support. Okay. You want Judge Sarah Heidel's races, and you can see, again, you can see his request for a restraining order and my response. Please go and read my response. Again, I don't think, if I told you, the judge's name is Judge Slauson. Let me tell you about the Judge Slauson. Judge John Slauson, I think. I might be saying it right now, right at the end. Okay, so when I first went into this guy, I want to tell you his demeanor. He was a judge. He wasn't the meanest judge. His clerk was black, and I said something positive about him just based on her body language. I wasn't sure the kind of judge that he was, or was. She recused herself and gave the case to this judge. The judge kept looking at me kind of funny. Remember when I told you guys I called him Mr. and I apologized, and he was kind of shocked. Well, I can see by his body language, he anticipated a certain behavior from me that he didn't see. This racist Judge Sarah Heidel, and let me tell y'all who she is. She's the young white girl who uses her femininity to have men go in her favor. This is who she is. I heard her hear other cases. I'm going to talk about that later, and I can reference the case numbers, where she would be mean. She was mean to Latino women who had white men. In this courthouse, my husband may have knew that, because I saw, and I'm going to reference this, where one particular case was a Mexican lady who didn't speak English, was trying to bring her, she was a family court, her husband was white, and she accused him of some kind of abuse to her son, and this racist judge was in favor of this white man. And what brought my attention, in the hallway, I said something about my husband's white privilege, and the white man looked at me. The white man who I'm talking about was guilt. That's what made me pay attention to his case. I ended up talking to his wife and hugging her. She didn't speak English. And I sat there and watched this racist lady. I don't know if I told y'all, she had an interpreter, and she tried not to have the lady have an interpreter. She said great things about this white man when this white man was accused of abusing his child. Social services was there. This relates to my cases because this is one of the cases that I'm going to show you how she treated me differently. Okay, I don't want to get off track too much. I'm going to stay on track. I want to tell y'all this. So, Judge Slauson, you know, he was a judge. He wasn't the nicest judge, but he was it reminded me of Judge Mathis. He was a judge who was holding a court. He was giving us information. He was respectful. But you know how judges have that little sternness. He was stern like that, and as time went on, he realized that this man was lying. He came into court lying to him, and he thought because I was black that this white man was going to listen to him and side him. He sat there and told blatant lies, and the judge knew he was lying. This judge read information. He read my response. He read my husband's complaint. He had us testify. He questioned us on the testimony. None of these judges did this in all my cases. These three racist judges who maligned me, they did none of this. Whatever my husband and his attorney said, they went with it. They didn't let me respond to anything. You know, I'm sorry I'm getting angry, but let me finish this, okay? So, it's important that I read this to you guys, okay? This is what I said in court. This is going to sum up kind of what happened. So again, Judge Sarah Heidel recused herself. And the reason why she recused herself, when my husband came here, I think I'm going to read it to you in here what happened instead of me telling you guys twice. He came one morning, okay, trying to catch me with someone. He was true. He told me he knew this woman, okay. He told me that she didn't like black women. I think he said she don't like hood rats. He was taunting me about Judge Sarah Heidel being a racist, and no, he was saying how he was going to leave me with nothing. That how his mother was going, his parents were going to die, he was going to get his inheritance, and I was going to have nothing, and Judge Sarah Heidel wasn't going to award me anything because she didn't like hood rats. That's what occurred, and I responded and told them. So she recused herself from the hearing. Okay, I'm going to read. This is what I said in court. Okay. Again, you guys, I want you to go to Just Sarah Hydell's Erasers, and I'm probably going to label, you're going to have to go through and see which part. I'll probably label it, this is, I married a white guy and 3 racist judges are trying to annihilate me, part 4. The documentation is on this website. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to read this to you because I want y'all to understand this. Okay? And the reason being is that he is the abuser. These people are trying to make me the abuser. And I wasn't the abuser. I was the abused. I would have to go to court and I would read in court because I really have an issue with train of thought. Okay? Because of my concussion. Restraining order defense. I do not require restraint. I am not the abuser. I am the abused. I would like to demonstrate that my husband is the abuser. This is the petitioner's attempt to conceal his address from the court because he lives with a woman. He doesn't want the court to know that he shares his living expenses. I'm going to show that the petitioner's credibility should be questioned. This is the petitioner's attempt to minimize spousal support by painting me as an angry black woman. This is the petitioner's attempt to retaliate because I testified to his alcohol abuse, to his drug arrest, and alcohol arrest, and his attempt to evade paying child support. Rocky is my dog. Y'all, he tried to take my dog. Read the website where in the request, he tried to take my dog from me. That later mysteriously died. That's mysteriously someone poisoned. Rocky is my dog. I would like to demonstrate this is the petitioner's attempt to hurt me because my dog Rocky. I want to demonstrate this is the petitioner's attempt to hurt me by taking my dog Rocky. I have suffered mental abuse relationship. Okay, I'm gonna try again, y'all. I have suffered in a mentally abusive relationship with the petitioner for over 20 years. The medical records I filed with the court is a confirmation of the mental abuse I endured with my abusive husband. The chronic pain also led to acute depression. Rocky acted as an emotional support dog. The petitioner attorney persuaded him to file a restraining order to block me from influencing him. She is taking advantage of the discord between the two of us. Instead of encouraging compromise, she is instigating conflict. And this relates to his attorney. Later on, I'm going to tell you about this chick, you guys. Okay? I am unable to pay my own credit cards. I am delinquent on my debt that I incurred when I waited for my husband to go to therapy with me. I do not have an income. See, all the year before, he kept on telling me we're going to go to counseling. I didn't argue with him about money. I did whatever I could. I was holding out because, honestly, with his history, you guys, he would usually straighten up, okay? I'm going to tell you why he actually didn't. I later learned, okay? Brief background. My husband filed for divorce after dispute about him going to a conference without me. We were having issues because of his drinking and his continued infidelity. On January 5th, 2019, my husband moved out of the home. I believe he rented a room close to our marital home. I didn't argue or fight with him when he left, which came as great surprise to him. He has taken a woman on vacation on our anniversary, which is New Year's Eve. His infidelity has taken a toll on me. Often I would look the other way, but he became brazen with his cheating ways. Shortly after he left, he and I went to dinner. He wanted to spend the night. He also tried to tell me about his living arrangement, but I didn't want to know. My husband told my daughter that he wanted to teach me a lesson. He told her that he was going to come back home, but he wanted me to see how hard it would be without him. He wanted me to suffer. Your Honor, my husband expected me to fall down the rabbit hole. And he did, you guys. And usually I would have. But I was tired. To be quite honest, had he done it 10 years ago, I would have fallen in a deep depression. I was in an abusive relationship for years with my husband. I taught myself coping skills to deal with the sadness and depression. It it is what influenced the business I tried to create. Please let me explain the cycle of abuse. My husband isn't loud or boisterous. He is verbally and emotionally abusive. He has been physical with me, but he has been physical with me before, but his abuse is primarily verbal and emotional. Like, he would come home and not acknowledge me. If I'm cooking, he would walk past the stove and give me a disapproving look. When I was younger, I would become emotional and despondent. But as we got older, I learned to ignore him. If he did something mean-spirited, if I got ignored and acted as if everything was okay, if he became mean-spirited, I ignored it and acted as if everything was okay, he would have guilt. He would do something nice like buy me something or take me on a trip. He would go to this dark place. If I would just wait it out, he'd come around and do the right thing. Last year, he would go back and forth about us going to counseling. He became very nasty when the kids stopped talking to him. Yeah, this is what made him become nasty. He pretty much stopped giving me money. I struggled to pay the bills. I was literally living on credit cards. My cards were at their limit. I came to courthouse in November to get relief. When I responded to the divorce, I just checked the same things he checked. I was pretty much in a daze. I didn't know what was going on, what I was doing. I realized I checked alimony, not spousal support. During this time, we had a July 2nd court date. I asked the self-help, how do I amend my response? They told me I couldn't, that the court would hear the spousal support on January the 2nd, which didn't happen. I practically begged them to help me because I was struggling financially. They then told me about the spousal support facilitator who helped me initiate the motion for spousal support. My husband refused to help me financially. It is not so much the money. He wants to see me suffer. Even still today, he agrees to go to counseling. Then when we get into an argument, he'll start lashing out. I have a screenshot of my phone log on where we talked for 20 minutes on February 28th. He told me to find a counselor. My point is, in the past 16 months, he hasn't had an issue with me that required restraint. He had virtually no interest in Rocky. He even refused to buy him dog food for 6 months. I would like to point out my husband's lack of credibility. My husband has blatantly lied to the court. I urge the court to finally acknowledge the lack of credibility in its responsive declaration for spousal support under the need of each party based on standard of living during the marriage. The petitioner made this statement: the marital standard of living is inflated due to the excessive credit card usage. At one point, I withdrew over $38,000 from my 401k to pay down debt. However, the respondent did not make the intended payment and instead created additional debt. I rebutted the statement. Let me tell y'all what he did. When my husband changed jobs. My husband has a phenomenal job, okay? He left one job. I'm going to tell you what, and this is I keep talking about his money, because he grew. He had one job. My husband made about $150,000. He ended up going to a sister company for like a year and a half. When he left, he had to take out he had to change his 401. We paid off debt. The main reason why he took out the money was to pay off his child support. He paid $12,000 in his child support. Okay? Because we wanted to refinance our home, we declined the refinance of the home because he had this outstanding debt for a child support. So again, he changed jobs. I'm going to say this to you guys again. He changed jobs 3 times. He left his original job. My husband had the same job for 20-something years. Okay? For like 20 years. He went to the sister company. When he went to that sister company, he got about a $15,000, $20,000 raise. Okay? I never dispute my husband's work ethic. My husband's he has a hella fine work ethic. What ended up happening, the old company brought him back, gave him a CLO position, and gave him an additional $15,000, $20,000 raise. So within 2 years, my husband's pay grew between 30. I'm not saying exactly, because I don't remember exactly. His income grew between $30,000 and $40,000 within 2 or 3 years because he left his main job, went to a sister company who gave him like a $15,000 raise, $15,000 to $20,000 raise, and then they got him back. They got him back with the raise, and then they also gave him like a $300 a month stipend. Okay, and so when you change jobs and you have a 401, you can pull it out and you roll it over. When he took it out, we did pay off some debt. So what he's telling the court, he's telling the bold-faced lie. He's telling the court that he took out $38,000 and gave it to me, and I didn't pay off the debt. That I incurred more debt. Okay? He told a blatant lie. When what actually happened was I did pay off some debt, but he gave $12,000 to he owed $12,000 was left on his child support. Okay? I talked to y'all guys about the child support, right? Our Tennessee came for him. And that was mainly because we wanted to refinance the house, but we could. I worked in banking before I left corporate. My background is in banking. We couldn't refinance the house because he had this judgment for child support. Okay, so let me finish reading this to you. Okay. I said, so the petitioner makes a statement, the marital status of living is inflated due to the excessive credit card use. At one point, I withdrew over $38,000 from my 401 to pay down debt. However, the respondent did not pay the intended payment and instead created additional debt. I rebutted the blatant lie by submitting a copy of an email I sent to our mortgage broker, an email informing him that we had paid. Remember I told you he would lie in court and I would catch him in lies and I would submit in my declaration his lies? That racist Judge Sarah Heidel, racist Judge Lawrence Riff, none of them addressed this. Okay? That he lied. Okay? The judge, Slauson, ruled against him because Judge Slauson, when he questioned him, he called him in a lie. You didn't catch me in one lie because I don't have to lie. Okay, I sent the mortgage broker an email. Here's my evidence. Informing him that we had paid down the debt. And finally resolved the child support delinquency, $12,000 of the $38,000 paid off his child support delinquency. That we were now below 36% debt to income ratio. So what I'm saying to y'all is, he went to the court and lied. He told the court, and he's a liar. Him and his attorney are sloppy liars. And I'm going to tell you probably what happened. He would tell her stuff. No, she's a sloppy liar too. He would tell her stuff. And I don't know. I don't understand how you lie. Because when you lie, the evidence is going to show you lying. Okay? So what he did was he told the court that he gave me money to pay off debt. And I didn't. I didn't incur more debt. So what I did was I tried to get our house refinanced. This is back when the credit crisis and everything, guys. Okay? So, and what was happening, everyone was getting lower APRs, okay? About 2008, 2009, because I worked in banking, okay? Just so you guys remember, this was back when the credit crisis and interest rates were low. And that's why I was wanting to refinance. I wanted to refinance to lower our interest payment because they were dirt low. When I tried to refinance, we were declined because he had a judgment for child support. The email, I'll post the email on Judge Sarah Heidel is a racist. I come from banking. I actually work for Wells Fargo. So I had developed a relationship with the mortgage guy. I sent the email to the mortgage guy saying, hey, listen, again, I sent an email. I sent to the battery gentleman. The battery gentleman. Let me finish reading. Okay, so I sent to our mortgage broker an email informing him that we had paid down the debt, finally resolved the child support delinquency of $12,000 of the $38,000 paid off his child support delinquency. That we were now below 36% debt to income ratio. He also failed to mention that credit card debt also included trips that we had taken as a family. He implies the spending was solely my spending. The truth is, we had taken almost every year. We have been to Jamaica twice, the Virgin Islands, Costa Rica, Bermuda, Hawaii, the Mexican Riviera, Cancun, the Bahamas, the Florida Keys, to name a few. Not to mention our Vegas getaways, ski trips, etc. there was only $7,000 spent. There were also $7,000 spent on our daughter's private school. My daughter's when she went to private school when she was in high school. Each East Coast trip. That there was also a $7,000 spent on our private school East Coast trip. On this East Coast trip, you guys, I put it on my credit card. He didn't pay it. This woman did not. It's still on my credit card, okay? And this is joint. And this was joint expenses. Your Honor, he is the one who loves to travel. You eventually see that when I am able to subpoena his bank records, they blocked me for subpoenaing his bank records. You guys, they blocked me. This is y'all gonna see what they do to me. You will see all the traveling he did last year. Europe, Northern California, Virginia, etc. This is what I know. Since this time, he's also went to Hawaii. Okay, but if you pull the documents, he says he can't afford to give me spousal support. But he paid $40,000 a semester for my daughter's education. And while we were during our separation, during our divorce, he went to Europe, Northern California, Virginia, etc. I know he went to Northern California with some woman because stuff came here that showed that he went to Northern California. The truth always comes to the light. Okay, he also claimed that I firstly spent my workers' compensation settlement. This is me telling y'all about the lies that he told in his declaration. That Judge Sarah Heidel never acknowledged his lies when I rebutted them and I showed proof that he was lying. And she never would acknowledge them. I submitted our joint bank account that shows the petitioner transfer a fourth of our settlement to his personal account. The same statement also shows money being paid to the creditors. Okay, so you guys, let me explain to you guys what really happened. Okay, what actually happened, how this thing happened. Because this actually ends up hurting me. After the last couple of years of my marriage, it actually hurt us. My husband would get a gift every December. We were to have two sources of income. He would get a gift from his parents. My husband also had a mutual fund. They blocked me from this mutual fund. This mutual fund is part of marital assets. They didn't award any to me. Okay, he had a mutual fund, and we would get the dividends. I think we would get, I think we would get the dividends in January, and in December he would get the money from his parents. And the reason why I'm saying this, if you have a family and you know how you live, throughout the year, we would buy things. He would say, honey, put that on the credit card or pay for it this way. My husband's really very tight, you guys. So he would have me pay other ways throughout the year, okay? We would pay it off with money from December and January, okay? I'm getting anxiety, guys, because this is what really hurt me. This is why I hurt financially. The last couple of years of my marriage, he didn't, I want to tell you guys exactly because I can't remember the dates, but it was before he left, maybe 2017, 2016. He would used to give me like $10,000-$20,000 to pay off whatever we had accumulated throughout the year. When he first started being funny to me, he gave me $5,000. Okay? Mom and Dad would send him money. Early on, he was just split it in half. And you guys, I want to say this to you. He didn't give me this money for me to spend on myself. It wasn't like he gave me $20,000, 20 go spend it. I paid the household bills, okay? So he would take half and half would go into savings. This was our money. Prior to, I don't know if I told y'all about us changing banks. Previously, the money would go in savings. I don't know if I told y'all, maybe I'll tell you guys later, but we changed our savings account, okay? So my name was no longer on the savings account. I don't know if I told you guys that or not, okay? So in our marriage, every year, he would get money from a gift from his parents, and he also would get a dividend check from a mutual fund. And I think the dividend check came in January, and the Christmas money came like usually a week before Christmas. So if we wanted, different things occur throughout the year. If we want a trip, or I need to buy a new washer, or whatever, just living, instead of giving me money, and you guys, he had the money. He'd say, Tony, put it on a credit card, and we'll pay for it at the end of the year. Okay? This is how I got stuck with all this debt. For the last 2 years, the second to the last year, he only gave me $5,000. And I remember him looking in the room saying, how much he only gave me $5,000. My marriage was on rocky ground right then. I really needed more, but this is when I just could not do any more fighting, arguing with him. I took the $5,000 and I moved on with it. The last year, Y'all, I think he gave me like $500. Okay. So finish reading. This is what I'm reading in court for the hearing for restraining order that he filed against me. The petitioner came in my home while I was away and took photos of my handbags. Most of the handbags being over 10 years old, and also being a gift he purchased for me. The petitioner submitted photos from a social media page with a bogus narrative. He is so sloppy and brazen in his deceit, he didn't realize that the photo caption detailed the nature of the photo. Finally, in the same responsive declaration under documents evidence of any history of domestic violence, the respondent states that there was no domestic violence. But the petitioner tells tall tales of me committing domestic violence. Man, it's unbelievable. Your Honor, I am not the abuser. My husband is the abuser. Is an abusive alcoholic that exhibits bouts of dark behavior. I believe him to be a sociopath because he does exhibit remorse at the time he can't control their abusive tendencies. I strongly believe it is a combination of the drinking and mimicking his father's behavior. I submitted a screenshot of a passage he sent to me from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. My husband was going to AA. He was trying, you guys. It was his attorney. His attorney influenced him, I think. He was trying. Maybe don't let me make excuses for him, guys. But you just have to know my husband. He's haunted with. He has demons. Okay. I submitted a screenshot of the passage he sent to me from 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. On October 5th and April 2nd and October 5th, passages has his 3 fingers in the shot. The 12 Steps and 12 Traditions is a book which explains the 24 basic principles of Alcoholics Anonymous. He also sent an email with a photo of his foot and a beer. He lies and tells me he quit drinking. He sent me the beer photo to taunt me because he knows how I feel about his drinking. I have also submitted multiple greeting cards he gave me after his alcoholic-induced attacks. One card reads, "Sometimes I just have to blow off some steam." On the front, the inside reads, "But I always love you no matter what." He signed it, "Sorry." The second card on the cover reads, "The bad news is your husband has to stay overnight for observation. The good news is we have this loaner model available." The inside reads, "We can dream, can't we?" He writes inside the card, "You might do better with the loaner model." This is one he would do. He would do these things to me, you guys, and he would show remorse. He would send me cards, and he would be remorseful after he would do this dark stuff to me. Okay, you guys. Sorry for lack of this. Okay, this is what the one card said. The one card said, and I'll post it on the Judge Heidel's Erasers. He writes inside the card, "You might do better with the loaner model. Sorry for the lack of good judgment over the past few months. Your Honor, please understand." So this is what the cards say. And then I say, I'm reading this in court. Okay, this is the document that I read in court because I could not remember. This is how I put on my case. "Your Honor, please understand, each time I forgave him because I know my husband has a disease, I kept believing God would heal my husband. He has had this drinking problem since we were in our 20s. I submitted a letter he wrote to me dated January 6, 1993. It reads, "My resolutions are to stop smoking squares, quit getting drunk, and stop eating red meat and lose my beer gut." I submitted multiple letters with my husband breaking up with me. Read them. The letters never give any specific reasons, like I wronged him or anything. My husband has issues, you guys. He just falls into a negative mood, which is probably the alcohol related. I realize that I appear to be an enabler. That is not the case. This is my husband, and I'm married for good or bad. I emailed his attorney explaining to her that he has these issues. I submitted these emails to the court. I then called her. She said that she doesn't see it. I explained that he's good at masking what is going on inside. I asked her to encourage him to go to therapy with me, but that this wouldn't serve his billable hours. So I'm going to finish reading this to you guys, but I want to explain. My husband falls into these sad depressions. I was okay with our divorce. He was taking these nasty tactics, okay? He didn't have to do that. I said, let's go to counseling, and the only reason why I wanted to go to counseling because I wanted to be able to go through the divorce amicably. My husband was nasty to his baby's mother for child support. She received aid. She received food stamps throughout her life. This is why the government, the state of Tennessee, came for him. Let me explain to you again. My husband grew up wealthy. His child's mother got welfare. That's why the state of Tennessee put a special master on the case, because he could afford child support. His baby's mama shouldn't have got welfare. I shouldn't get food stamps. This is a wealthy white man who lives in the top probably 10 percentile of America. And these are the antics he takes to not pay what he's supposed to pay, his legal obligation. The restraining order is his retaliation for exposing his mental ill issues. My husband's career is the most important thing in his life, and you guys, I protected him because he loves his job, and I will always protect him. Okay. Again, this relates to his relationship with his father. He is still trying to prove that he is good enough. Professional achievement was paramount to his parents. He would be mortified if any of his colleagues read the public record of what I have disclosed about my husband. He's trying to hurt me. I try to resolve our difference in civil matter, but he always will bring up a negative subject that initiates an argument. I sometimes struggle with the abuse. I constantly made an effort to refrain from communicating with him. The petitioner submitted a copy of a text message between he and our daughter in his response for spousal support. The text message is my daughter telling him I'm waiting for him to come to get the car for the smart check. His response reads, "Please know I am not communicating through you either moving forward. She can text or email me if she doesn't want to speak. This will be the last message I communicate to him." So you guys, let me explain to you, okay? When I talk to him, honestly, I get really bad anxiety because he says nasty things to me, okay? Back in December 2018, my doctor, in my medical records, it says she is suffering from this divorce. She needs not to deal with this divorce. Which is one of the supporting evidence that I need an attorney. Secondly, because I didn't talk to him, I would have my daughter talk to him. In the text message, this is what he says. Now remember, you guys, he's asking for a restraining order, okay? I don't want to talk to him. I'm trying to avoid him. In his response to my daughter, he says, "Please note that I will not communicate to you either moving forward. She can text or email if she doesn't want to speak. This will be the last message I communicate through you." So he's asking for a restraining order, like I'm a threat to him. But I'm trying to avoid with him. I'm trying to avoid communicating with him. I would have my daughter ask and talk to him because honestly, you guys, when this is abuse, and this is a cycle of what would happen to me. When he would, I'm trying to get better. When this is over, I'm sure I'll heal myself. He would do these things to me. He would say these hurtful, nasty things to me, and they would literally debilitate me. I would lay in bed. I wouldn't move. I wouldn't do things because they would really hurt me. I read books to teach myself to work through it. So I just stopped engaging. When he would do shitty things, I just wouldn't talk. I was doing my best to build my business. I was trying to build my brand to support other women who had issues like I had. Okay? So he goes, "So sometimes, Your Honor, I have to step back from him. Sometimes I fall into a depression. He will say hurtful, mean-spirited things, just like jabs, just little jabs. Sometimes I can take it. Other times it's too much. I make a conscious effort to avoid him. I submitted my medical records, which my doctor suggested that I communicate through our daughter. I also submitted an email correspondence because between the two of us. This was after an incident I will detail later in the testimony I wrote. Please leave this is the email that I sent to show evidence. See, what happened was this Judge Lawson, He read my husband's petition. He read my response. He heard our testimony and he questioned us. This, from what I see, is an ethical judge. When I made a comment about how my husband's work ethic is, the judge's body language. I'm good at reading people. The judge got it. Because more than likely, this is a workaholic too. This is a man who also values his job and his position, and he works really hard. And that means even if he has some racial issues or he doesn't have a feeling about black people, this judge has integrity in what he does. And he realizes that this is this man's effort to try to prevent me from getting spousal support. He even questioned my husband. Because what happens is he says that I attacked him weeks before he filed the restraining order. He filed the restraining order the same day that the judge ordered the $5,000 attorney fees. When the judge asked him, my husband sat there arrogant, smiling, being arrogant to this judge. Okay? Because he just thought that this judge, he thought that all white people are not going to get down like that, y'all. All white people are not going to do that. Okay, so this is the email I'm reading to him. Please leave me alone. Yesterday I gave you the rest of the things that were in the home. Please leave me alone. I won't respond to any other emails or calls. You need to redirect your responses to your attorney. He responds, I'm fine with this as described. I'm fine with this as described, and would love if you follow through on your word for longer than 3 weeks. My attorney is not responding to communications with you. Haven't you realized you received no response from his attorney? That seems to be something you've seen on TV. This is what he says. Because I tried, you guys, I believe my husband's having an affair with his attorney. Later on, I'm going to explain to you why and how. I didn't think that at first. He told me that was his girlfriend, but I didn't believe him. I thought he was just trying to get under my skin. When I tell you all that happens, this girl has a personal, this is too personal for her. She has a personal stake in my divorce, and everything she does is unethical, and I think she's sleeping with him. I actually think she might even be pregnant by him, you guys. Okay, and I know this. I told you guys this gets really ugly. Anyway, so this is what I'm reading is what I read in court for the restraining order. Your Honor, this is the demeaning behavior I've tried to characterize. I know it appears subtle, but it is what he's done to me our entire relationship. If I'm hurt by the comment, then I'm being sensitive. All the little jabs, they add up, and that's what he would do, you guys. He'd take these little fucking jabs at me. The restraining order is an unethical attempt to minimize spousal support. I believe this is a plot he and his attorney have planned for a few months now. I'm reading this to you, but I think I'm reading the wrong part. This is what I say in court. What I want y'all to know, you guys, I'm going to read it to y'all. And I want y'all to pay attention, okay? Just a second. I'm kind of having issues with my camera because I'm staying too long. But you guys, I read this to you because I want you guys, what I'm trying to demonstrate is in this, when I read in court, when I presented myself in court, I was trying to show that he lacked credibility. Okay? But this Judge Lawson heard this case and he declined, he rejected his request for restraining order because of what I said in the information. This is very important this is germane to them maligning me, because what happens is I try to have her removed. And I want to say this really briefly. At the beginning of this presentation, I told y'all about the Central Park 5 and what I'm trying to say to you guys, they could not malign 5 minority men for rape. It couldn't just be one person. It couldn't just be the judge. It couldn't just be the prosecutor. It couldn't just be the police. They have to work in concert together. Okay? And the reason why this is important, because I'm going to show you how this court system, they work in concert together. Judge Lawson did not work in concert with them. This racist judge probably went to, he's an older man, she's a pretty young girl. She probably went to him and made a reason why she wanted him to hear the case. I'm going to read to you what happened, okay? This is in my response. I don't know if I told you this already, you guys. I told you I'm forgetful with my brain. They put the request for restraining order, the subpoena on my door. They didn't give it to me. I didn't have to go to court, okay? They taped it on my door, okay? Then I took it. I don't know. I learned how to do this. I think I went to the facilitator's office, and I went and I responded. This is what I said, okay? This is it's on the website, Judge Tara Hydel's Erasers. This is my response to his request for restraining order. And again, he did not order the restraining order. This is my husband's attempt to paint me as an angry black woman. My husband infers that the judge hearing our court case is prejudiced to black women. This is his attempt to paint me as an angry black woman. He gave false testimony to attain a temporary restraining order. I'm going to respond to this restraining order to the best of my ability. I have been suffering from a brain injury since December 7, 2018. Sometimes I lose my train of thought and struggle to find words. My husband is angry because of Judge Sarah Hydell ruled in my favor for the attorney fee hearing. The petitioner is a COO at a facility that caters to juveniles on probation. He deals regularly with the court system in central Los Angeles and the Pasadena area. Okay? The judge lives in Pasadena, you guys. Judge Sarah Hydell. Okay? He has implied that Sarah Hydell doesn't like black women and that he knows her from when she worked at the United States Attorney's Office. I am not a threat to my husband, and he has not provided evidence to support a restraining order. I have said this to the court repeatedly. My husband is an abusive alcoholic. Alcoholism is a mental illness. He suffered from severe mood swings. He and his attorney has made false statements throughout our case. False statements that I've given conflicting evidence that they are lying. So that's what me telling him about this. So this repeated what I said. What I'm trying to let you guys know, what happened was, I don't know if I told you guys this already because my brain's so bad. What happened was he came over here. I don't know if I told you guys this guy's already. If I'm saying it twice, forgive me. What he did was, I told you about him coming and trying to take the sneakers, okay? If you go online and you read everything, you'll know what I'm saying. I'm trying my best to minimize and make it short. And I do struggle with what to tell you, what not to tell you. I want to shine a light on this because I want you guys to help me sue the Los Angeles judicial system, okay? In the form of $1 for my GoFundMe. I want to show you, do I have a good case because they maligned me and they violated my rights. What happened was on a Saturday morning, Friday night, he emailed me. One day he emailed me saying he was going to come over, okay? That's what he would do, okay? It's like I'm telling y'all too much of my business. You guys, my husband was unfaithful to me throughout my marriage. I'm not that person. I don't do that. I'm a middle-aged woman and I can count my sex partners as of today on one hand. My husband was the fourth person I had ever been with. What he was trying to do was catch me in here with someone. This is how my husband's minds work. He's guilty. I told you I caught him with a prostitute. I read emails where he would say inappropriate things to his co-workers. I read one of his boss. Remember I told y'all he got a job at that second company? I read emails where his boss sent him personal email, thanking him that had undertones inappropriate behavior. She went to Tennessee and brought him back a bottle of alcohol with his name on it. My husband continuously cheated on me, y'all. Okay, I did not do that. I'm just, and it really has nothing to do with me. Well, I am monogamous, but I don't give myself to people like that. And my husband knew. He kept trying to catch me with someone so he can hold over my head that I had been with someone. I hadn't been with anyone. He would sneak in and open the door. My home is relatively large. You can come in and I may not hear you. He would come in and sneak in and come in the room and try to catch me with somebody. But I was never with anyone. Okay, so what he did was he emailed me that he wanted to come over here, that he and the pool guy was coming on a Saturday morning. Saturday mornings I go to the gym. Okay? I emailed him, what time do you want to come? He never responded. He just popped up. I'm in my living room, out right where you hear the birds because my door's open. It's my backyard. I looked and I saw him outside. I was about to leave. And I was like, bro, you need to go. I said, why didn't you tell me what time you were coming? You know I'm going to the gym. I'm not comfortable with you being here when I'm not here. I told y'all in the declaration, he would do scandalous stuff, you guys. He took pictures of my stuff. He would do scandalous things. So ultimately, what happened was, he came here. He thought, when I told him to leave, I said, bro, you need to go. I said, leave because I want to go to the gym. You need to leave. You should have told me what time you were coming. This is why the judge ruled against him. In the email, he told me he was coming. My response said, when you're coming. He didn't respond. He lied to the judge. He lied to the judge and told the judge that I said that he could come. The judge read the email. Judge John Slauson read the email. Judge Sarah Heidel never responds. When I say something, when I make a claim, she never addressed it. Again, when you watch Judge Mathis in a civil case, when the person gives testimony, Judge Mathis questions the person who's giving testimony and he allows the person to rebuttal. Judge Sarah Heidel, racist Grand Dragon Lawrence Schrift, never allowed me to respond. When they would say stuff about me, they would never let me respond. They would leave their testimony on the record and never let me respond. So the judge asked him, this is what happened. What he ended up saying, he said that I pushed him. And so he had pictures of his chest. And my husband has psoriasis, so he showed pictures of bruise of his chest. The judge actually questioned him. The judge asked him the judge actually did his job. The judge was fact-finding. Judge John Slauson fact-found. Asked him where, he questioned him. He caught him in a lie. Okay? He caught him in a lie. And what happened was, he did come. And he started taunting me, telling me that Judge Sarah Heidel was a racist. That the word that he used, that she didn't like hood rats. Okay? He said that he was going to leave me. He said that he was going to get his inheritance. That he was going to live well in his inheritance. That Judge Sarah Heidel wasn't going to order me any money. That I was going to live in poverty. He sat out here and he taunted me. I came and I said, I'm going to call the police on you. I came in the house and he went to leave. I saw him get in the car. He said to me, I'm going to drop you off the car insurance. Y'all, he went and reported to the police that I put my hands on him. The Judge Slauson did not rule in his favor because Judge Slauson actually questioned him. And I want to wrap this part up because, and what other thing that happened, how the judge knew, because I'm going to tell you more stuff about the bailiff, how the bailiffs get involved in this, okay? So we went to the regular court for the hearing for restraining order. They told us to go to a different court because she recused herself. She recused herself because she didn't want testimony on the books about how she knew my husband. Okay? So she got Judge Slauson to hear the hearing. Okay? What happened was, when we left, they said, you guys leave separately. My husband left first. You know what the bailiff said to me? He said, I knew it wasn't going to be a problem between you two because you both walked in together. We did walk in together. He's my husband. We argue like anyone else. You know, we argue, but he was trying to imply that I was a threat to him, that I was dangerous. I don't know, why would someone get a restraining order when there's a threat, right? I wasn't a threat. The bailiff in Judge Slauson's court said to me, on whatever date of this hearing, whatever date of the hearing, because you know what, I'm saying this to you, I'm giving you this information, see, because the truth doesn't change. It says April the 4th, 2019, room 205. The judge is Judge Slauson. If you want to investigate this and see who the bailiff was on this date, the bailiff said to me, so they told us to leave separately. I said, he ruled in my favor. He found that I wasn't a threat to him. He told me to leave, my husband to go first and let me leave second. That's probably normal and usual. But the bailiff said, I knew it was going to be a problem between you two because you both came in together. We did walk in together. We walked in together, and actually, which is going to come up again, he and I talked about the vocational evaluation. Okay? So, you guys, please go to the Judge Howard Hydell's erasers and read the evidence that I put on there. I'm trying to decide now I got to tell y'all what happened. Oh, God, you guys, it gets real ugly. Let me take a break right now because my camera's acting crazy. I know these videos are very long, you guys, and I'd rather do one long sitting than a bunch of because you just got to listen, you guys. You got to go through them. If you got to listen to them 20, 30 minutes at a time, if you got to take notes, I really want you guys to follow along, okay? This is part 4, and I got to tell you guys, it gets nasty. It gets really nasty, and this part starts to hurt me, so it's hard for me to say it, but I got to push through. Okay, so let me get myself together. Let me be put together and tell you guys what actually happens, okay? And this relates to oh my God, so girl, my heart's racing because I don't want to move on. Give me a minute. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna tell you what else happened, okay? I'm gonna tell you guys what happened. Thank you for listening so far, okay? Thank you. Okay, you guys, so where did I leave off? Okay, so really quickly, because I'm getting confused because I'm having problems with my camera and I get confused with where I'm at with the videos. So in terms of, so what happens is I filed a motion to reconsider on the spousal support and the vocational evaluation, okay? With the spousal support, with a motion to reconsider, you asked the court to reconsider information that wasn't pertinent or wasn't available. When she did what she called herself using the ex-spouse application, the variables in the ex-spouse, what do you call it? I'm going my bad brain. When they did the calculations for spousal support, my husband lied about specific things in there. So, for example, I probably told you this before. One of the things they consider is medical insurance. He was paying my medical insurance, but he also included the part of the medical insurance that went towards my daughter. He carried my daughter's medical insurance. They lied about how much he made. I told you before, his attorney took my tax return from 2017, crossed out how much I made and wrote in. The judge used all these figures. And actually, spousal support should be based on your current situation, okay? So I did a motion to reconsider spousal support, and I also did a motion to reconsider the vocational evaluation. You do a motion to reconsider. You can do a motion to reconsider 10 days after the order is made. Like I told you, with the vocational evaluation, it was never done on board. It was done. It wasn't done correctly. Or how an order becomes order is that the winning party or the court will submit what's called findings in order after the hearing. It's mailed to me, then I have so many days to respond. Then they submit it and it becomes a judgment. That never came. Remember the vocational evaluation, I wanted an attorney. I submitted a motion to reconsider the vocational evaluation. Keep that in mind, okay, you guys? So what happens is, it's April 4th. My daughter's in college in New York, okay? And, okay, I was having issues with my camera, and I think I fixed it. And I think I got to redo some information. And if I said it before, you guys forgive me. I'm talking about his attorney. And like I said, when he told me that was his girlfriend, I didn't believe him. She was a little aggressive. She felt like she had an emotional attachment to it, but I just thought she was a young lawyer and she was just trying to, do a good job. And one day she called me kind of erratic because there's a second person on this. Remember the first attorney that appeared, the black lady who was really good? She ended up leaving. You guys are going to learn the story about that, okay? Because I told my husband, I said, you need to leave this girl alone because this girl is trying to rob you. She's just trying to do some billable hours. The first person that appeared on your behalf, which I think is referred to as the associate, she was nice, she was respectable, you know, and she was nice and she was respectable. If you're going to have a divorce, you want attorneys to be amicable. It shouldn't be personal. It's just equity. You're just splitting assets. It shouldn't be personal. This girl, it was always personal. Like I told you, when she stood in front of him, and I stopped and I looked at her. I'm like, this is not what I think it is. And then one day they were sitting in the court together, and you know body language. Her body was sitting like towards him, and he was just sitting there, and her body language was towards him. And I'm like, you know, you don't want to put these thoughts in your head. I'm like, no, because she's just a cutest little thing. I'm thinking, she doesn't want him. It's in my mind thinking, she doesn't want him. But what ended up happening was, because she kept doing all this foul stuff and lying, I went and checked her background. And I went on LinkedIn. On her LinkedIn, she's from back east, I think Maryland, somewhere in the East Coast. And previously, she worked in the same industry, okay, as my husband. And that's one of the reasons why I think this one judge is maligning me, is because my husband works for family services. He works in human services, I guess. So he works with the courts, with the family courts in particular. This girl worked in the same agency, the same industry, and they would have conferences, like I said, and they would have conferences, you know, for people, I guess, like child welfare. Went to Chicago. It was like different vendors that pay for the conference, and it's the goal, I think, in the conferences is educating them on social services, I guess, different types of platforms, different programs or whatever. So he would go to these conferences, and I learned her in LinkedIn. Previously, she worked in an identical industry type of company my husband works for. 2014, she moved to California and passed the bar. And this is about when he started tripping. And you guys, you know, I know y'all think I'm stupid. Some woman used to text him. I knew he was doing something, y'all. I just didn't put my energy towards it because what I really wanted to do was build my business and my bread. I had wasted my whole life trying to build something with this man, and this man he wasn't going to be what I needed him to be. I constantly thought, I got to put this down. I got to recover from my back injury, and I got to live my life. I got the rest of my life ahead of me. My kids are grown. It's time for me to do me. You know, one time I answered the phone. No, he had text messages, and it said, hello. I said, who is this? He said, I don't know, and it was an out-of-state number. I'm going to sit and tell you all the time, like, I would catch him doing stuff, and y'all could think I'm dumb and stupid. I just didn't care no more. I wasn't sleeping with him, so I knew something was going on. But because I had sat in depression and had so much issues with my back and so many problems, and I read all these self-help books, I was like, you know what, Tony, you're going to get yourself together. You're going to get this right. And as much as I was trying to get myself right, he would always mess with me. He would never just leave me and let me do me. So back to his attorney. So I believe that he is having a relationship with her. And in the trial, I asked him, I said, did you tell me that she was your girlfriend? She objected. This racist judge sustained or ruled in his favor. Her being his girlfriend is relevant, very much relevant to everything that happened. Because what happens is she keeps saying that I didn't mail her stuff, that I didn't give her things, which is not true. Okay, that's one of the major problems. Is she was saying she wasn't receiving things from me. But as I tell you more about it, you'll see how what a reasonable person would do if they didn't receive something, what they would do to try to obtain it. Okay, so I'm on a tangent about this girl, but I really want you guys to know that when he told me it was his girlfriend, and I laughed at him, I was like, boy, you tripping. And after when I looked and I saw his LinkedIn account, her LinkedIn account, I was like, damn, he done met this chick at a conference. And God knows how long they've been plotting on me. God knows. And you guys, don't cry for me about him being with some other woman. It's not meant to be for me to be there with him. I'm okay with that. You know, I just want to be treated fairly in the judicial system. I want him to go on, live his life. If he y'all, I want to tell y'all some stuff, but I make the save it for later, because this is some soap opera ish, okay? But yeah. So it's April, and my daughter's graduating from college. I think my daughter's graduation was April 16th, 2019. And it's just so much fucking information, you guys. Because I need you guys to understand, because I know you're going to make comments, and I want you to understand the full understanding of what happened in the nature of my family. I've been married for 20 years. My husband was abusive. But as a family, often we worked. Me, my husband, my daughter, and my son, we were all four of us are very charismatic and very personable. We go out, we hang out, we party. We have, my house was the house where people will come, hang out. We're very social, okay? They all drink. I drink one drink and I'm drunk. All three of my husband, daughter, and my husband, they partake in drinking and they party and we have a good time. When my husband moved away, remember he's an alcoholic. He kept sending me stuff about Alcohol Anonymous and all these different steps. My husband is suffering, you guys. He's an alcoholic. Okay, and he was in a bad part. If you know alcoholism, he was in a bad section of time in his alcoholism, okay? That's part of why he was angry. I'm going to tell you guys what actually happens, but I didn't really think he really wanted a divorce. He was being mean to me, and he was trying to make me suffer. Usually, if I step back and I leave him alone, he'll come and he'll send me something. We make up, okay? So, oftentimes, my decision is based on trying to get along, okay? So, during this time, I kind of had determined I didn't want to mess with him because, like, as I talk, my heart is racing. I get sick. I really wanted to avoid him because everything has happened in the past 5 or 6 years. I'm learning, just stay away from him, Tony. Just stay away from him and you'll be okay. My daughter was graduating. I didn't want her to have a bad graduation, you guys. And my husband does things like support, buys, gives, and does things financially based on how he feels. And I don't know if I said this to you or not, but part of the reason why he actually stopped giving me money last year when he first left, because the kids stopped talking to him. He got mad at me because the kids stopped talking to him. The kids stopped talking to him because of how he kept treating me. Okay, both my kids stopped talking to him, and he blamed me. Okay, so we're going to the graduation, and I asked my daughter, I'm like, babe, do you want me to just come and hang out? So what happened was me and my son stayed with my daughter at her apartment in New York. My daughter spent the last semester, the semester for last in Europe. My daughter spent her senior year in Europe. Her final semester in college, she moved back to New York and she got her first apartment. She wanted Daddy to buy her stuff. She's like, Mommy, I don't have anything for my apartment. I need furniture. I need all kinds of stuff. So what she's saying to me, that we need to be nice and be good to him. Okay, we need to get along as a family. Because this is how he is. If everything is good, if everyone's happy and treating him nice and respectful, then he'll share and he'll do stuff. If we say we don't want to talk to you or we're mad or we are in our feelings, he retaliates and he does nasty stuff. Everyone's happy if we just play nice. Okay, so this and honestly, for the most part, we travel together, we do a lot of things. We really have a great dynamics in my family. It doesn't become a problem till this man starts to drink. Okay? He told me I didn't know if he was drinking or not. He was gone for a year. He kept on sending me texts and emails about AA and Bible stuff. So I'm thinking that he's getting sober, you guys. Okay? We go to New York for her graduation. After she graduates, we're going to go to dinner. We go in New York City, liquor stores on. We went to the liquor store. We got champagne. I bought a bottle of liquor, okay, there that I like to drink, okay. I drink one drink and I'm nice. I sat there and watched that man drink that, and this is what he does. And if I talk to him about it, I learned to leave it alone. I can't change him. He drank the whole fifth, I think it's a fifth of bourbon or brandy. This is the thing that I drink called Woodford Reserve that he turned me on to, and I bought some. And I bought champagne. We all did a toast for the champagne. I bought a bottle, and I think he bought a bottle. He may have bought two because he bought cheaper bottles. I bought a nicer bottle of champagne. Okay, the bottle of champagne that I had at the Polo Classic, that's the kind of bottle of champagne that I bought. Okay, And so, what am I saying to you? Okay, so we went to her graduation. We decided to celebrate her graduation and go to dinner. And I'm trying to tell you guys this. I'm trying to explain to you exactly the dynamics. If you're nice to him, he'll play nice for the most part. I didn't want my daughter to have a bad experience. So we went to her graduation. We came back. We had drinks. Then we went to dinner at Beauty and Essex in New York. My family, everybody in my family is really very cordial, and we were like free spirit. We were kind of bar hopping. Okay, our reservations at Beauty and Essex was later. So we were bar hopping. We were hanging out. Everything was getting on. We went to dinner at one place, and we went to like a pre-dinner. We went and had appetizers and like oysters and stuff at this one place. As we waited for our reservations, my son paid for it. Okay, so Daddy's gonna keep on saying he paid for everything. My son paid for the bill. Okay, so we're drinking, we're having a good time. Okay, what I'm trying to express to you, this is the real dynamic of my family. We can all hang out and have fun. Me and my husband are cool mom and dads. Like, we hang out with our kids, we're cool, we have fun, right? We went a couple of bar places and stuff. I'm a lightweight, so I might have 1 or 2 drinks. I don't get drunk. Daddy gets fucked up. He drank the 5th at the house. I think he drank 2, maybe 3 bottles of champagne. This is my husband drinks. We're out. Y'all, we took a cab there. We were having a good time. My daughter was feeling herself because she was a graduate. My son, we were all having a good time. He said he getting lit. But I'm not tripping. I'm like, when I'm seeing my mom, I'm like, damn, he told me to stop drinking. He's still getting drunk. But we're having a good time. Anyway, we get back to the apartment after everything's over and done with. He starts to come and fuck with me, y'all. He starts asking me questions. He starts talking about his lawyer. That's what he did. He starts talking about his lawyer to me. He said, you don't know who she is? I was sitting on my daughter's bed. My son was in the other bedroom, 2-bedroom apartment. My daughter was on a couch. They all heard him say this to me. This is why we're divorced. He would drink, and once he get drunk, he starts to mess with me. Okay? So he came standing on the door. He was like, you don't know who she is? He was calling his lawyer by the name. And I was like, who is she? She's a young girl. So I'm thinking maybe it's one of his friend's daughters or something. I'm like, who is she? He said, she my girlfriend. I was like, what? Okay, listen, y'all. This little girl is cute. She is cute. She reminds me of my daughter. She cute, got a cute little figure. When he said this to me, I'm like, he trying to get under my skin. No way did I think that this was his girlfriend. He tells me that the lawyer's his girlfriend, that he don't pay for attorney fees because that's his girlfriend. And let me tell you what I did. I started laughing. I said, you're not sleeping with that girl. Let me tell y'all. Sex with my husband is horrible. I'm not trying to be mean-spirited or say anything slick. This is one of the main reasons why I thought he was lying to me. Sex with my husband is horrible. I've been married to him, just to give y'all an example. I've been married to him for 20 years. It's times my husband couldn't find it. Do you know what I'm talking about? He couldn't find it. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? I'm thinking, this pretty little girl ain't sleeping with you. I started laughing. He got mad at me. And I said, boy, stop lying. He called the Uber. He started going outside. Now, I walked outside with him. I was like, that girl ain't sleeping with you. You know what he said? Viagra. Because he knew what I meant. I said, you ain't sleeping with that girl. Ain't no way in the hell you can satisfy that little girl. You crazy? And when he got outside, he was ripped. He said, even drunk, he said, Viagra. So listen, y'all. He told me this girl was his girlfriend because her credibility and everything happens come into play. Okay, so as of April, when my daughter graduated, when he said this to me, I really didn't believe him. I didn't even think that. As stuff transpires and I start researching based on her behavior and all the scandalous stuff, she does something really very scandalous. She lies throughout the whole thing. She just tells lies. Okay? I just figured she's just not a good lawyer. Okay? She's just a liar. She's a lawyer who lies. Okay? And so, months later, what I ended up doing, I looked on her LinkedIn. Excuse me, guys. I'm so sorry. Wendy Williams, right? Anyway, listen, y'all. Okay, so what ends up happening, if you remember, part of what weighed on my marriage is he started going to these conferences. I used to work in corporate America. When I had conferences, he would come. This part, my husband and I were really very close up until maybe the last 6 years of my marriage, maybe. We did everything together. He started going to these conferences. When he changed jobs, and I told you, I read emails that his boss sent him that was inappropriate, and she was buying him liquor and stuff. I thought it was his boss he was sleeping with, okay? The boss of the second job that he had when he got the first raise, okay? So what started happening was he started going on these conferences, and he would tell me the day before. The day before, the 2 days before he filed for divorce, I told you he came in the backyard, put his finger in my face and told me I wasn't invited to the conference. I'm going to tell you one more story really quickly, you guys. When he was at this new job, he had a conference in Palm Springs. I didn't want to go initially. I said I wanted to come the last minute. I may have already told you guys this story, okay? So he went to a conference in Palm Springs. He goes to a lot of conferences, you guys, and usually it depends on how long it is. If it's like Monday through Friday, I'll come on Wednesday. If it's in San Francisco or whatever, I come later, okay? And this is what. Okay, you guys, I woke up in the morning. I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning. He wasn't in the room. And then he came later. He said he went downstairs to do something about the bill. You guys, okay, so I want to tell you all stuff about this guy and these conferences. We were in Chicago. It was some gay guy, and some gay guy begged me to let my husband hang out with him. He says, I haven't seen him in so long. And I was like, bro, what's up with that? Remember I told y'all about him, right? I've had thoughts in my mind about the different stories I wanted to tell you about him, but you just have to know how he is. And that's how he met me. He walked up to me and started acting hood. My little ghetto husband. But he's not. My husband's a very well respected person in his. He's a white guy. Okay, he looks like my man. But he hung out. He grew up with black people in the South. He liked hip hop music. He's a wigger. And the more that I think about this, he started tripping about these conferences about the time this girl graduated and moved to California, and it hurt my heart. Not that if he's with her, more power to him. I don't care. I don't love him that way no more. But when I explained to you how it happened with my case and everything she did that was unethical, it's conceivable that that's his girlfriend. And I felt so duped because he told me, and I literally thought that he was joking. And if you see, she's the cutest little thing, and it dawned on me, this is a rich white boy. This is a rich white guy. And how he is, this is how I met him, he'll buy you drinks. When I met him, when we met, I worked at a restaurant. We all hung out one night, and he had his parents' credit card. He paid for the bill. I met him down south, okay, and I used to be a waitress. One of the white guys I worked with saw him pay for everybody's bill. When I was with this guy, this is how they white people think. Y'all think black girls get mad about black men being with white girls? White people are worse. When I would be with him, you should see how they would look at me. You would see how white girls go and flirt with my husband in my face because he was with a black woman. This white guy who I worked with at this restaurant, I remember, we all hung out. This is what we would do. I was a waitress. So we would hang out after work. And I got a job near his apartment when we lived back east. We hung out and we had drinks. He whipped out his parents' credit card and paid for everything. He would flex. Okay, my husband's stingy with his money, but he's very insecure, and he's not like, he looks like my man. He's a chubby white guy. He was a cute white kid with curly hair when he was younger. He dressed cool, but he's a chubby white boy who became a chubby white man. Okay, and the more and more I think about it, he done met this girl at a freaking conference. And that's how he's very charismatic. He probably invited her for drinks afterwards. Or my husband is he is so charismatic, you guys. I can't say enough. And I loved him. That's why I stayed married to him. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I didn't have positive aspects of him. Sometimes he was dark, he would do shitty things to me. But then I would justify it because he would do nice things to me. And then I sat and thought to myself, even though the sex was bad, and I'm looking at this girl come to court, she probably got loans, school loans from being going to an attorney. She didn't come from wealth. His lawyer didn't come from wealth. She spoke well. She had average intelligence, but she wasn't. I know wealthy people. I know what wealthy people look like, how they dress, how they carry themselves. This girl didn't come from that. And just based on how she would lie and be deceitful, she probably came from a very challenging background. And he probably met her while we was married at a conference. So I'm going to pretty much wrap this up. I probably should have wrote it down so I can know what I can tell. I'm going to be sitting here grasping for words because you guys know my brain is really slow. I gotta stop saying that because I keep speaking that negative stuff into existence, but I just want to make sure y'all know why I'll be sitting here like, what do I want to say? So to do some recapping, so he filed a restraining order against me. Judge, I think his name is John Slauson. He didn't rule in his favor. He actually questioned my husband. This is the first time in any court hearing that I went through with my husband. This is the only judge that held the court, sat on the bench and ran the court like a normal court proceeding, and did and gave me my due process, let me speak if that's the right terminology. He let each party speak. He allowed us to question each other. He questioned my husband and myself. He didn't even question me. Did he question me? No, he did. He asked me what happened was my husband lied. So he questioned us about our story, and I feel bad because this judge, he wasn't going to rule against us. In his mind, this is divorce. They're fighting. And when this other judge, Judge Sarah Heidel, and this is what I'm going to tell you about white people, okay? And you guys, if you're white and you're reading this, hearing this, I don't like to make blanket statements, okay? I don't like to say white people. I don't think that's smart or that is a valid statement. I can say from my experience or some traits. I don't want to offend anyone, okay? But for what's happening, what I see is white people sticking together. I have had that experience where I was in opposition with a white person and the white people stuck together. I mean, it's kind of human nature that you cling to what your own kind, or who you're with, or who you relate to. It's a whole science of that. And what I think she did, she went to this judge and said, hey, I got this issue. I don't know how she got him to listen to the case, but based on her recusing herself, opens up the door to she shouldn't be listening to my case if she cannot be objective. If she felt it necessary to recuse herself from this, she should have recused herself from everything in my position. But I think he was trying to help her, but he wasn't going to compromise his job, his standing as a judge to help this one girl, okay? He did his job, but he was supposed to. Just Judge Lawrence Riff to the opposite. And y'all, I don't like making a lot of speculations, but I read some stuff about Judge Lawrence Riff. A lot of people say he's a pervert. He's associated with the, what's his name? Harvey Weinstein. Look, my husband looks like Harvey Weinstein. He looked at me. He comes and said, why you say I look like Harvey Weinstein? I said, babe, you do like Harvey Weinstein. You're not quite as old as him, but you look like Harvey Weinstein. If you go on the Roving Room website, I'll put the link below. Somebody goes off about this Judge Lawrence Riff and Harvey Weinstein, and some one comment was like, oh, he's a pervert, he winked at me. So what I'm thinking, he's her boss. Judge Lawrence Riff is Judge Sarah Heidel's boss. Cute little girl. She's a cute little judge. You see, she's a pretty girl. She went to him and said, I'm going to tell you later what he did in January. And this was him, with him talking to me, and what he did, it was personal. He was trying to protect her, okay? And so the point that I'm making is they stick together, and you guys, if you're listening, I really need y'all to, black women, I really want to make this about us. And I know it's hard. I know sometimes we don't show up for one another, and you want to take care of yourself. But sisters, it's imperative that y'all show up for me in this, because I'm going to do the right thing, and I'm going to let the world know. And my main thing is, I have 3 objectives. Hold these judges accountable, create unity amongst black women, have a historical event where we all came together as black women and we supported each other to show that we can actually do this. And I also want to make a case for a new updated Civil Rights Act. I want to talk about the Civil Rights Act at some point because this is really very important. It's just certain, I have it in my mind. I'm not going to talk about it now, but I'm going to want to do that. That's probably that's a long-term goal. Okay. There's something I want to say, and I kind of vaguely remember saying it before, and I don't know if I've added it to my content. I had a problem with some of the footage, and I'm having to reduce some stuff or give more information that I think I've given previously, and I've got so much content. I'm having a hard time keeping on track of it. So I know this can be annoying. When I watch a YouTube video, I'll be like, get on with it. I will fast forward it. I get it. But this is the beginning. This is like a movie that starts slow. And as I go on, it's going to get more dark and more dark. But what I want to say is that about this judicial system maligning me, they're trying to make me be the abuser. They're trying to say that I abused him. And I'm saying this to you because I want to demonstrate to you how they malign black people. This is why black people are in prison. This is why Kim Kardashian is doing this innocent project. And what I believe is judges, people in higher authority are a party to it, but they always come out unscathed. Okay? They're trying to malign me and say I was the abuser when I have evidence in the record showing that he abused me. And since he's been gone, just like he came here and he harassed me twice, okay? 3 times I went outside, my car had a flat tire. Someone pulled the hot water heater pipe, messed my hot water up. I told you I went outside to my car, and I'm going to put a picture in here where someone did something to the rear view mirror on the passenger side. The back is off. I went outside and the back was off. And I'm going to show you the front and the back. I don't know what happened. It wasn't like I had an accident, because I would think the front would have been cracked. It's like someone took the back of my rear view mirror off. And so what I believe, allegedly, he knows that I'm struggling financially. And like I told you in the beginning, he left with the idea that I was going to suffer, and he wanted to see me suffer. Because I haven't made any concerted effort to get back with him or be back with him, this makes him even more angry. And he does dark shit. Matter of fact, this is what I want to tell y'all. Last Saturday, he has to click it for the garage. This fool driving back and forth in front of the house, opening my garage. And y'all, this man is an executive. He's an executive. This is someone in society that you look up to. This is a grown-ass man. And y'all, he was driving back and forth. I was like, what is the thing open? Looked outside. He's driving back and forth, clicking, opening the garage to mess with me. And I hope that I'm expressing myself accurately and you're getting the idea of what I'm trying to say. The idea is what I'm trying to say is that this white man is my victimizer. He has victimized me for 20 years. And in terms of relationships and marriages, all women who are listening to this, who've been in long-term marriages, y'all know what happens. Sometimes, see, and y'all might think I'm a dumb girl, but I put up with men's stuff. I will put up with stuff that men do, because I always try to be a bigger person. I'll stroke their ego, I let them do them, because I just try not to engage in conflict. I think sometimes people have a bad day, people show up, they have their weaknesses, okay? And so when he would do stuff to me, it was clear he was doing it to me. When I was younger, now that I look back on it, you guys, I was in a really bad abusive relationship. And I want to say this, and one of my friends might hear this, but I want to say this. I want to say this, and if you see this, and please don't think anything bad of me. Please don't think I'm coming for you. I just want you to be aware of what's happening, okay? I told you guys I have a girls group. It's like over 800 girls in my group. I mentor girls. We have a good time. I have an amazing girls group that we, it's a social group. And one of the girls in my group is a black girl who was married to a Mexican guy who got divorced. The Mexican guy kind of abused her. She's like one of the really nice girls that, she's a sweetie pie, that wants to help you, that she's a good girl. You know what I'm saying? And then she was in another abusive relationship with this guy who kind of made her feel bad. And he made her feel not good about herself. And it upsets me because she's a beautiful girl. She's beautiful. But because of what she went through, she has real low self-esteem. I wish I could tell you. Maybe in the future she'll let me show you who she is, but she's pretty. So she's been single for forever. And me and her go back and forth because I'm not trying to find no one. She goes, oh, that's because you haven't been single long. I'm like, listen, y'all, listen, I've been married for 20 years. I don't need no man like that no more. I don't want to worry about what a man doing, what he's thinking. I want to do me. And for her, she's like, well, I've been single too long. I want someone. Anyway, so she got this white guy. And the white guy has a baby, a biracial baby. And long story short, he moved in with her. He lost his job. He was flirting with one of her roommates. When the George Ford thing happened, they were in the car together. And a white man came up to the car and said, these niggas are out here doing something. You know, they're hurting themselves. The white man didn't hear her in the car, see her in the car. Okay? So she's with this guy, and I don't think he's good for her. But I am the woman who will turn the other cheek. I will tolerate some stuff, okay? All in the name of compromise. But listening to her, knowing who she is, this is one of my girls that I mentor. He's not good for her. And she needs to pull the Band-Aid off. And what she said to me, which resonated with me, she goes, Tony, you don't understand. It's my family. He's my family. It's my daughter. It's my family. And it's just, my heart just dropped. And I said, girl, I understand. Don't you know all I did and how long I stayed was because of my family? And girls, what I'm trying to say to you, because I was the same way. When he would do shitty stuff to me, and things that the average girl, your Generation Y, y'all would have been like, bye. Y'all would have left him. Generation Y, y'all don't play. But when I weighed the pros and cons, in my mind, this is my family. And see, now that he's gone, and all the shitty things that he's doing to me, he did this to his baby mother. So I knew if I weighed, when we would have hard times, I would weigh the options of breaking up and staying with him. And it just made more sense to stay with him because I knew that he was going to put me through some stuff just based on how he did his baby's mama. Just based on how he did her and just knowing how he is. Unconsciously, I stayed. And I'm going to tell you, I always justify it. And even, that's still part of me. It's my family. Sometimes I even think, would I get back with him? I know I wouldn't, and I don't. All that he's done to me, it would be crazy. I would be a crazy person if I got back with him. But then I'm going to tell you, it's another side of me, that this is my husband. That this is the father of my child. This is the man I've been with since I was 21 years old. Okay? Women, we have that. And that's an emotional part of us. But you have to think with your intellectual mind. You have a wise mind and your emotional mind and your intellectual mind. Your wise mind is combining your intellectual mind and your emotional mind. My emotional mind is like, that was my baby. I loved him. Y'all, I'm telling you how he abused me, but that was my baby. We did so much stuff together. We went on vacation. I loved him. But he would do shitty things to me. All the time. All the time he would just do shitty things to me. And I should have started it a long time ago.
But ultimately, it was like, I'm in this, I have this nice home. My kids are doing well. We're a family. And leaving him, the other option of leaving him was going to do what? What's going to happen? I felt constantly able to tolerate him to maintain my family. And I was trying to I would avoid him. In the beginning, early on, we was, you young, you fight, you say things. As I got older, when he do nasty shit to me, I just would look at him. And I wouldn't say anything. He would do nasty shit to me. And it hurt so bad. But as you see on the video with my personality, I experience the emotion, I let it pass me, and I move on. But for me being in a shitty relationship, I wouldn't have the tools to do that. And it's my purpose to help other women develop the same tools that I've developed and get through traumatic times. That is my purpose. So everything happens in divine order. So yeah. I'm gonna wrap this up. I need to get to the next video, so I'm gonna wrap this up. And I really would appreciate if you guys share this video. I really need help with the GoFundMe. And again, I'm not comfortable asking for $1, but I want you guys to understand, if everybody gives $1 and I can hire someone to do a suit against these people, to get the balls rolling for the investigation. If I had the right resources to have them investigated, just having them investigated is going to expose them. It's a good probability once they're investigated and exposed that I won't even have to take out a lawsuit, that they will settle. They would acknowledge it. Okay? But I need sisters to show up. How y'all showed up for these black men that were murdered, these women who was murdered, it shouldn't have to be, I shouldn't have to die for you to show up for me. I shouldn't have to die. I shouldn't have to have something tragic happen to me. This is tragic, but I shouldn't have to have something as awful as someone murdering me or shooting me or hanging me for my people to show up for me. If you have any comments or questions or concerns about what you think about me, if you're questioning, I'm cool to answer it. Once I get enough views, I will go live. And you want to ask me questions directly, I'm an open book. Because y'all, I didn't do anything wrong. Everything I've said to y'all has been the truth. If you dig and look at these transcripts, and as I tell these stories to you, they maligned me and they lied. They broke the law. Okay? They maligned me because I'm black and I'm married to this white guy. And when I challenged her, just like Sandy Bland challenged the officer, they like, nigga, stay in your place. When that man stood on George Floyd's neck when black people were around and kept him on his neck because they was begging him. They was begging him to stop. I'm going to tell you, my daughter used to play basketball, and we used to yell at the refs, and the coach was like, no, don't yell at the refs because it gets worse if you yell at the refs. If you yell at the refs, they're gonna work against us if you yell at them. Leave the ref alone. This is exactly how they ended up murdering that man. He put his foot on his neck and he was standing there. They was begging him. The cop was like, you're not gonna make me move. It made him stay harder because they was challenging him. And that's what happened. She maligned me continuously. By the second, third time I went before her, I said to her, I think that you have some racial bias here. She turned around in her case and said, well, explain to me, what am I doing? I had already told the attorney how I saw, the main thing was, I told you when I went back to the court on February the 7th, she was meeting me in January, February. I watched her be so nice to these white people. I was like, well, maybe she was just having a bad day. As soon as I stood there and opened my mouth, she looked at me in disgust. And you know the thing that hurt my heart the most? It's a black bailiff sitting there watching her malign me. And he know what it is. When she did it, I looked at him and he made an excuse for her. I looked at him. He goes, oh, it's no more time. It's out of time. Remember about the spousal support? She wouldn't let me tell my part. What the bailiff said was, I looked at him and he responded. His knee jerk was like, oh, it's no more time. It's no more time. And I can't even, I love black people. And it hurts my heart that a black man will have to sit and watch her malign me. And he knows she's black. To keep his position, to keep drama down, he got to go with the flow. He got to go with the flow. And you know what? I'm going to tell y'all this really, really quickly. I don't know if I tell y'all in the start of the next video or tell y'all this one. I want to tell y'all this about something that happened currently.
Tell your friends to pull up.